Hello, in this video I'll be providing you a course preview of the Morgan Sports Complex Disc Golf Course. It's a great beginner-friendly course with a couple of ace runs and also some challenging holes on the back nine where par is a great score. Number 1 is 144 feet. It's definitely an ace run type hole, pretty much straight at it. There is some trouble to be found if you go right or long left where you'll find some shrubbery and it goes way downhill. There's also out of bounds if you go long left as well, which could inflate your score. You definitely want to attack this hole right off the bat because taking a big number isn't very likely. And of course, ace is always in play. Number 2 is going to stretch out a bit further to 244 feet. The basket is going to be tucked to the left over all this shrubbery that lines the entire hole. Your desired disc flight is going to be something that's going to carry at least 215 feet or so before a hard hookup at the end. The basket's going to be tucked over here to the left, as I mentioned. There are some trees there on the right of the basket to protect it. If you don't fade hard enough at the end, most discs are going to land somewhere in this general area, leaving you kind of an edge of circle type putt. Number 3 is another shorty, 151 feet. Pretty much straight at it. It is downhill, so it plays a little shorter even than 151 feet. A hyzer shot is somewhat protected by these bushes on the right unless you want to go over them. The preferred line is usually just going to be something straight or a righty forehand. Take your chances and go for the basket on this hole, as it's not very likely to be penalized with a big number. Number 4 is the shortest and probably easiest hole on the course, also downhill, so plays even shorter than 135 feet. Really just play whatever your most comfortable approach shot is. Some people may even jump putt this. Only danger would be there is a prevailing wind that goes right to left, so if you expose the underside of your disc, you could end up in the street, which may play as out of bounds. Number 5 is 181 feet. Because of the out of bounds on the left and these trees lining the hole right, really the best shot is something that is straight. So you can play a hyzer flip or just a disc with minimal fade or turn. Some players may even prefer a high speed or fairway driver played low under the tree, depending on a skip at the end. Number 6 is 245 feet, but this tree blocks a hyzer and the overhanging limbs keep you from throwing anything high, so you are forced to tee off low. Most people are going to play a hyzer flip shot, try and get something to go as straight as they can, or a big righty forehand. There is water about 40 feet behind the basket. It is protected by the fence. There are also a couple trees here protecting you. So it is hard to go in the water, though not impossible. Number 7 is 222 feet, pretty much straight at it. The trees on the right do block a hyzer line. So the best line is going to be a hyzer flip putter or mid-range, whatever you can get to pretty much just go straight for the majority of its flight. A righty forehand is also a great play. The baseball field behind would be out of bounds, but that's about 40 feet behind the basket, so that's not going to come in play too often. Number 8 is 334 feet. This is our longest hole so far. The hole travels down this alley right in between these two baseball fields. The baseball fields make it tough to throw any type of big hyzer line, so you're forced to throw something low and straight. That brings every single one of these trees and this concession / bathroom area into play. If you do get the distance, the road right behind the basket, about 35 feet, comes into play. Number 9 is 209 feet. Again, trees on the right block a traditional hyzer, so you're forced to play something very straight, or you could play a skip shot off of this road sidewalk area. That's probably the best line for some type of ace run and making sure you stay safe, because if you're playing something straight or hyzer, it brings, as I said, the tree into play and also the potential to fade into the out of bounds area. Number 10 is 209 feet, basically straight at it. There is some shrubbery right behind the basket to really stop you from going too far. This is definitely the type of hole where it's hard to take a big number, though a 2 is not a given. If you pull it out right, you're going to be much below the basket. If you go long, you're stuck in a lot of this shrubbery. Feel free to give this one an ace run. Number 11 is 372 feet, making it the longest hole on the course. And there's lots of trouble. There's a couple ways you could play it. You can play a big flexing shot right over the baseball field, but your disc would be out of bounds pretty much right off the tee box, and if it never comes in, you're going to lose all that distance. This road over to the right also plays out of bounds. A lot of people are going to play something straight towards the road, depending on its end of flight fade to bring it back to the landing zone. If you can end up somewhere around this scoreboard, it's actually a pretty good shot. It's about 280, 290 feet, which leaves you with a chance to make a run at the basket or lay up and take your par. This is one of the first holes that has the potential on this course for a big number. Number 12 is 200 feet. It is tucked over to the left in between these neighboring baseball fields. Your best shot on this is going to be something that is played very high. A grenade, if you have that in your arsenal, is a great option on this. A lot of players are going to play something straight, and if it doesn't fade hard enough, ending by this garbage can or so at about circle's edge is a pretty standard outcome on this hole. Number 13 is 248 feet. You can play something straight with a fade at the end. It's going to bring all these trees into play, or a righty forehand can be played out to the left, depending on a strong fade at the end to get you close to the basket. There is a road that would play out of bounds behind the basket. It is a good 40 feet behind the basket or so, so you'd really have to put a good move on the disc to bring that out of bounds into play. Number 14 is 348 feet. The basket is down and to the right. If you have a forehand that can go 350 feet, this is the hole to bust it out. If you don't, playing something understable on a righty backhand is going to be your best option. These soccer nets are almost always here, and they do come into play. Depending on the type of round you're playing may vary your relief from something like this. 3 on this hole is a good score. Number 15 is 305 feet. If you have a 305 big hyzer in your arsenal, this is the hole to play it. There's no danger to the right, so if you can trust your disc to come back towards the basket, that would work just great. Righty forehand isn't really in play on this hole. There is just too many trees lining the left side of the fairway right off the tee. This hole does normally play directly into a headwind, so you can't play something too understable or it's going to get caught up in that wind and cause too much turn. Number 16 is 360 feet and by far the hardest hole on this course. There's out of bounds lining the entirety of the fairway, left and right, leaving you only about a 20 to 25 foot wide landing zone. That being said, 3 is a great score on this hole. I've found the most consistent way to get this done is to play something as straight as you can for hopefully about 200 feet if not more. From there, what is your preferred approach line? Straight through these trees, a righty backhand hyzer, or a forehand? If you can do that close to the basket and leave yourself with an easy 3, be happy. Number 17 is 176 feet. It plays straight up this alleyway, and the basket is tucked over to the right. A righty forehand is great, or a righty backhand Annie with a slow mid-range type of disc would work out perfectly. As long as you don't go out of bounds, it's tough to make much more than a 3 on this hole. Number 18 is 317 feet. Again, lined by baseball fields on the left and the right, which would play us out of bounds. Most people are going to play a hyzer, which is going to play over the out of bounds for the majority of its flight. As long as you can get over the field or land yourself back in this central area, that's a good shot to leave you with a decent approach, something hopefully that you can run at the basket. There are a lot of trees guarding this basket, so if you have 317 feet of power, just play it and play a little plinko, see if you can get close to the basket. Thanks for watching this course review of the Morgan Sports Complex Disc Golf Course in Destin, Florida. I'm hoping to do more of these types of videos at the courses in my area and hopefully branch out to some other ones. Leave a comment below if you liked this review or if you have any questions about the course I reviewed today. This is Mo Lenny. Have an awesome day.